Hello. Hello, hello. Welcome everyone to the official launch of the fall quarter and the academic year. I am Kathy Lee Arquino, Executive Director of International Programs here at North. Before we begin, let's give a big round of applause to the Toucan Steel Drum Band who got us energized this morning. Listening to their music made me imagine that I was on a tropical island somewhere off of the coast of Thailand, so thank you for that. I know you're not strangers to North, so we are very glad you could be on campus today. We'd also like to thank the SCC TV crew for taping this morning's program. It is being live streamed and will be available afterward to those who are unable to join us today. In addition, we'd like to thank the planning committee for all their hard work to plan today's event. So let's give everyone a warm round of applause. Just as a friendly reminder, please silence your phone ringers so everyone can enjoy the program. If you want to share some of the compelling points you're bound to hear during the program, as well as during the breakout sessions, we encourage you to post it on social media, tagging @SeattleColleges and using the hashtag SEAConvo17. Again, that's SEAConvo17. According to the dictionary, convocation in short means a gathering of people for a meeting. However, to me, convocation is more than just that. It's a time to reconnect with old colleagues and friends, a time to meet new colleagues and make new friends, a time where we remember how each of us contributes to our community as well as the Seattle Colleges District mission, an important time to reflect on how we are important for our students and a part of their educational journey, because not only are we teaching them, but we're also learning from our students. And lastly, but not least, Convocation Day is a time to pump it up for the academic year. So to get us grounded for the day, I'd like to introduce Danielle Sewell. She's a business faculty in Central and also teaches mindfulness at South in Continuing Ed. She is going to lead us in a brief exercise and has practiced mindfulness meditation for 10 years. It was at the business school at MIT where she really saw a great need for a safe place in an otherwise stressful environment. This morning, she'll lead us in a short exercise to help bring us into the present and set the tone for our program in this new year.
Thanks, Kathy Lee. Welcome, everyone. So just you can think of these next few minutes as just something for you. So nothing to do, no obligation, no kind of place you need to get to or thing you need to think about. Just a moment to really take a break. So I want to invite you to start by just allowing the body and mind to relax. So if it's helpful to minimize distractions, you can close your eyes or just look down. And take a few deep breaths. And as you breathe out, you might imagine the body relaxing. As you breathe in, allowing thoughts and plans to fall away. Conversations, to-do lists, plans. Just setting that aside for a few moments, knowing that it doesn't need to be figured out right now. And first tuning into the sounds in the room. Just seeing what you notice. And then bringing your awareness in a little closer to your own head and face. What are you experiencing there? So you might notice the area around the eyes, the brow. You might notice tension there. If so, you can invite it to relax. Or just let it be as it is. The head and the face are connected to the neck and the shoulders. So moving your attention down to the neck and the shoulders, what's present for you there? Again, you might notice the feeling of the muscles, tension, or calm. There's no thing to do or right thing to notice, just whatever's present for you. And the shoulders and neck are connected to the torso and the core. So bringing your attention to your core, you might notice the breath in the belly. The core is connected to the legs and the seat and the feet. So you might sense the pressure, the weight of the body in the chair. Perhaps you notice your feet on the ground. And now expanding your awareness to the whole body in the chair or standing. See if you can have a sense of the whole body in the room. So here we can see that it's not so much a collection of individual parts, but connection, all connected to a whole. So nothing can work individually, but all of the parts are necessary for the whole to work. All of the parts support us in moving around and caring about our day, standing, walking, doing the tasks that are important to us. So now I'd invite you to take a moment to turn your attention to your service, the gift you give to students, faculty, staff, the community. Each of you has a service, a gift. What is that? So taking a moment to recognize that gift that you give. And last, expanding your awareness to the whole. How your service fits into the service and the gift that the colleges here give to students, to employees, to the community at large. That each of us is necessary, and yet each of us needs the rest. We're connected to the whole. So just taking 3 more breaths here for yourself. And when you're ready, opening your eyes, returning to the room. Thank you, and have a great convocation and a great school year.
Thank you, Danielle. What I was thinking about during that exercise is that since this week is International Student Orientation, we've had many international students on campus. At first, when they're looking quite lost, they're a bit nervous and shy, but then knowing that in a few weeks they're going to be more comfortable, confident, and have that feeling about, I'm cool, don't worry, I got this. So for all of you that see international students on campus and our new students who come on campus, please remember to help them feel welcome and to help them get that feeling of knowing that they're cool and they got this. So before we go any further, I need to tell you that in case of an emergency, we will evacuate out these double doors. We will then turn right, go down the stairs, and go to the northeast parking lot. Since we have a full morning and it's very jam-packed, let's go ahead and start with introductions and get this convocation party started. With me here on the stage are Luis Chernin, Chair of the Board of Trustees, Vice Chair Steve Hill, Trustee Teresita Batayola, Chancellor Shouan Pan, and Trustee Carmen Gayton sends her regrets that she is unable to join us today. Members of the district leadership team are in the front row. As I call your name, please stand. Central President Sheila Edwards-Lang, North President Warren Brown, South Interim President Peter Lortz, Maureen Shader, Interim Dean of Instruction and Community Partnerships, Kurt Buttleman, Vice Chancellor for Finance and Technology, Dave Blake, Vice Chancellor and Chief Human Resources Officer. So let's give another round of applause for everybody on stage as well as our guests. And now I would like to introduce the leader of who I moved all the way from Pittsburgh, Kansas to work for, my boss, the president of North Seattle College, Warren Brown.
Great, thank you, Kathy Lee. And I want to welcome everyone to North Seattle College for Convocation 2017. I have a question first to start off. I'm curious how many people, today is the first time you've been in the Roy Flores Wellness Center. Raise your hand if you may. Okay. Wonderful. So no matter if this is your first time here at North Seattle College or if you're a returning employee, North Seattle College, really like the Seattle College District, always tries to reflect change and lead change. And speaking of change, what I wanted to do was kind of look 3 years to our past, so going back to 2014, and also 3 years into our future, so 2020. So in 2014, you were here at North Seattle College for our convocation, and at that time, you helped North Seattle College open our Human Services, Health Sciences, Student Resources building, so our HSSR building. And today, for lunch, you will also be in that same building. So that was 3 years ago when you were here at North Seattle College. Now looking 3 years into the future, it'll be 2020 when you all come back to North Seattle College. 2020 will be an important year for North Seattle College, as that will be our 50th anniversary, and we're really excited that you all will be here to celebrate that with us. But beyond 2020 and the celebration of our 50th anniversary, there will be changes that are reflected in the broader North End. The light rail station may open early in 2020, so we're excited by that. Also in 2020, there will be a pedestrian overpass bridge from the Northgate Mall, the light rail station, to the college. We're looking forward to that as well. But also what you will find in 2020 is, assuming the state has a capital budget, and we're kind of not holding our breath, but we're optimistic that'll happen. North has a $32 million major renovation of our library building, which is a 100,000 square foot building. And by 2020, we hope that there will be advanced work happening to get the library building up to the state of the art for our students and for our staff. So that's looking 3 years in the past, looking 3 years in the future, but I do need to talk about Convocation 2017. So as the host college, the president of the host college, we're always asked to say a few words about the college. And that's very difficult for a college president to only say a few words, spend a short amount of time to highlight the wonderful things that are happening on a college campus here at North Seattle College. So what I decided to do was I would engage the chancellor, because I know he's into data. So I thought, well, if I only have a few minutes, let me try to persuade him that I need a lot of time. So what I decided to do is I have 6 slides that I'll share with you in just a bit. And they say that a picture's worth 1,000 words, so I figured 6 slides, that's what, about 6,000 words, right? And then if you figure out how many words goes into a page, that's about 12 pages of double-spaced text. So I told the chancellor I needed at least 30 to 40 minutes just to brag about everything that's going on here at North. And the chancellor gave me this funny look, and I realized that he was really trying to save face for me. Because the reality is, the chancellor, and many of you know that if I speak for more than 5 minutes, I have that smooth jazz voice, the late night radio voice that will lull you to sleep. So I think the chancellor was afraid that if I speak for more than 5 minutes, my smooth jazz voice will lull you to sleep. And I think that's actually one of my superhero powers, is I can make you comatose. So, but the chancellor didn't tell me just keep it to 5 minutes. He didn't tell me that. Instead, he kind of looked at me, and I knew he was trying to come up with some excuse for me to keep it short so I can save face. And he said, Warren, you need to keep it short because of achieving system integration. And I'm like, what does ASI have to do with my speech? I don't know. But that was the rationale. I think he was making sure that I kept things moving. So for ASI, I will keep it short, and I have slides to share with you about some of the highlights that are happening here at North Seattle College in 2017. So the first slide. North Seattle College, like many of our colleges in the district, we're always trying to be responsive with our instructional programs, and you could see that we have 3 new programs coming online, and we're really excited for that. And I just want to take the moment right now to acknowledge the faculty, the deans, the administrators that have been responsible for generating these new programs. Can you just raise your hands and be acknowledged, please? Come on, raise your hand. Yeah, there you go. Great. Thank you. So the next slide, moving towards my 5-minute timeline here. One thing I'm really proud of is this summer I had an executive team retreat, and one of our major missions there was to construct a non-instructional program review process. We put a lot of time into it, and we're proud to say that we have finalized it, and we're one of only a handful of colleges in Washington State that have not only an instructional program review process, but a non-instructional program review process. So since we have Board of Trustees on the stage here, I need to explain why there's beer in the bottom right corner of this picture. So the beer, I assure you, the beer came after the meeting, after we put together this new non-instructional program review on that. Oh yeah, so craft beer program is the suggestion. Maybe we should go for that. All right, the next slide. North Seattle College, we have great IT and web staff here. There's a picture of Nico. We unveiled our brand new website, and I don't know how many computer monitors on his desk or the amount of time that was put by both Nico and the web services staff and IT to make it happen. But web services staff and IT, can you raise your hand so you can be acknowledged for all of your hard work for developing our new website? Thank you. The next slide. This was the first year that we had a brand new curriculum for North's leadership development. We infused more content about budgeting and the budget process, as well as more content regarding working in a multicultural environment. So this is the group of our first graduates. If the graduates are here today, why don't you stand, actually, and let's give you all a round of applause for being our first group through that Leadership Development Institute. Great. Thank you. And the next slide. The 13th year, there have been so many people across the Seattle College District, certainly at South, Central, and North, that are moving towards expanding the 13th year. We know with the City of Seattle's support, both North and Central will be able to add one high school into the 13th year program. I've worked really hard to develop relationships with the principal for Ingram, and that's Principal Martin Flo. And despite all the time and effort that I put in to develop the relationship with Martin Flo and Ingram, which will be our 13th year school, for some reason I decided to share this silly set of pictures with you all. So I think I may have just lost that partnership that I've devoted so much time to. So there's Martin Flo. If you know him, he's a great supporter of what we do in the community college system and, of course, at North Seattle College. But please tell him you did not see the picture of him making fun of himself up there. All right, next slide. And this is the final slide. North Seattle College, like Central or South, there's so many successes that happen with our students. And it's hard for us to share all the powerful stories of what we do to change their lives and what they do to give us life as we work in the college system. So this is just highlighting one particular student group. This is the Rocketry Club at North Seattle College. Resourceful group. You can see from the text that they were one of 3 community colleges that competed in this international rocketry competition. We actually believe that they won, but there was just a slight variation of a few feet where they became the second place club. So we're really proud of the resourcefulness and the excellence of our students. They were so resourceful, they ran out of money for their club, and they hit up several members of the administrative team to find them more money for their travels and to support their rocketry. So it's wonderful to see the great work that our students do, and I just need to say a little bit about each one of the students. So the student that's to the left of the rocket, he's actually moved on to the University of Washington, and we're really happy that he chose to come to North Seattle College. And the student that is on your far left that has a red hat on, he's actually at Seattle University right now, and so we're really proud of his success. As far as the other students that you see in the picture, I've been told they've now been hired by North Korea to help their program. Okay, I had to go there, okay? I had to go there. Okay, well, that's highlighting a few things at North Seattle College. Again, So that's highlighting a few things at North Seattle College. And again, it's really not just about North Seattle College, because it could be Seattle Central or South Seattle up here. There's so many successes that are happening because of the work that all of you do. So thank you for coming to Convocation 2017. And again, welcome to North Seattle College.
Representatives from our employee unions are also here with some brief remarks. Please welcome Ty Pethy, President of the local Washington Federation of State Employees, Annette Stouffer, President of the American Federation of Teachers, and Bob Sullivan, President of the AFT-SPS.
Good morning. I want to start by giving thanks to all of our hardworking staff who have made today possible. Often our members in facilities, maintenance, engineering, and food services don't get the credit that they deserve. Convocation is a time for us to come Convocation is a time for us to come together, celebrate our accomplishments, and find inspiration for the coming year. I truly wish everyone here today the very best. But I want to inspire us to find a new focus. If we look to our faith communities, our traditions of wisdom, and our best academic research, there's really 4 key pillars of personal meaning. Belonging, our relationship with friends, family, and community. Purpose, the service that we provide to the world. Awe, those transcendent moments where we see the world larger than us. And finally, the stories that we all tell about our own lives. I want to encourage all of us to nurture our relationships with colleagues. We spend far too much time together to really waste that time by holding on to conflicts. I want us to not lose sight of our purpose. Think about those moments where we've seen students come back to say hi, the moments where they walk across the stage at commencement, or the thank yous that we've all received. Cherish those moments. Remember to occasionally step back and think about our lives. We can all change the stories that we tell about ourselves, and we should all acknowledge what we've lost, what we've gained, and also what the goals that sustain us are. We'll need this strength on this upcoming year. We'll face challenges such as district integration, budget concerns, and also the changing field of education. We'll need the strength to work together to come up with a plan. Together, our differences are our strengths, and everyone has a voice. However, this will take participation from all of us. No one is without value, and everyone is needed in this. So I would encourage all of us to get involved in committees on campus, groups in the community, actively participate in your union, and help make these solutions for our incoming year. Thank you so much.
Good morning. On behalf of AFT Seattle Community College's Local 1789, welcome back. I'm Annette Stouffer, president of our faculty union. This is not the same world as 1 year ago when we came together for Convocation. Most days, it feels like we're in a topsy-turvy reality. Attacks on things that we hold dear come one after the other, with no time to catch a breath before the next one. Attacks on unions are not new, but the ferocity of what lies just ahead is, and we had best not ignore it. So-called right-to-work legislation and a challenge in the Supreme Court require us to prepare and organize. Our very existence depends on it. As a child who loved Star Trek, these attacks bring to mind the Borg. They attacked mercilessly wherever they went. They were androids without conscience who forced implants into their victims and assimilated their bodies and minds into a collective. They erased the free will and individual voices of those they encountered. Their ominous warning as they attacked was, "Resistance is futile." In so many episodes, that seemed true, and I have to admit that there were times I was fearful that the Federation leaders that I watched week after week would fall into their clutches. Of course, they ultimately prevailed against the Borg. They combined the genius of individuals to formulate a plan. Then all were united in their commitment to carry out the plan. They not only survived, they turned back the Borg and were more resilient than before. We in our unions can and must use our best ideas to resist the attempts of those who have set out to undermine us. We need to call out right to work for the lie that it is and be committed to being stronger and more resilient no matter what comes along. Resistance is not futile, and we'll see you in the trenches. Thank you.
have to find my spot here here we go. My name is Bob Sullivan. I am president of AFT Seattle Professional Staff Local 6550. The AFT Seattle Pro Staff Union was formed 2 years ago to address the needs of professional staff to organize in order to achieve some job security and respect at work. In the beginning, the district had almost no one in the bargaining unit. We turned around and had almost everybody in the bargaining unit, and that eventually was established with AFT Washington and PERC and the district. In April of 2017, we had 185 folks in the unit. We now have 167. So 3 or 4 people leaving the roster in any given month is nothing new, but losing 18 is quite a big number. Another concern is not being notified when a department is being reorganized, when workflow is changed. We need to be sure that work remains in the bargaining unit. When new positions are created, the union needs to be notified to help determine where the work belongs. We need your help to let us know when conversations begin so we can work with college administration to facilitate change equitably. In October, we'll be going back to the table to negotiate another contract. There are campus meetings in August to help us develop a survey to determine the priorities of the bargaining unit in negotiating this contract. To vote on this new contract, you must be a member in good standing. Represented fee payers do not get to vote. If you are not sure of your status, please contact us. Union work is difficult and often thankless. Union leaders and representatives do not receive additional salary for serving on the executive board administering the contract. We do it because solidarity in our bargaining unit and connecting with our sisters and brothers in AFT Seattle and WFC 304 are key to building a community and trust between one another. I'd like to thank Ty and Annette for all their great work on behalf of their unions. I know we all have challenges ahead. By working together, we can get through them and come out stronger than ever, both as a union and as a district. I wish each of you a great year, and thank you for your support.
To sum up the essence of the Trustees Lifelong Learning Awards, I'd like to say a quote from Leonardo da Vinci. "Learning is the only thing the mind never exhausts, never fears, and never regrets." So here to present the awards are the Board of Trustees Chair Louise Chernin and Vice Chair Steve Hill.
Thank you so much. I'm really delighted to be here today with my fellow trustees and the presidents and all the staff and faculty and Dr. Pan. For me, and Kathy, thank you for all your help, and I know prodding when I need any help. The fall is a start, and I can't think of a better place to start, especially all the people who reference the hard times that we're facing, to start by being in a room of such change makers, such powerful people who are shaping and molding and opening up hearts and minds and giving people skills to succeed and vision and hope for the future. So I just wanted to personally thank every one of you for what you do every day to make a difference, because really we are the answer to all the toxicity that's out there. I wanted to, this award, this is my first time presenting it. It's my first time at Convocation, so I'm very excited to be here. The Trustees Lifelong Learning Award is made in recognition and support of the importance of continued intellectual and professional growth of all members of the Seattle colleges. Conceived 25 years ago as a means of rewarding excellence, its primary purpose is to encourage faculty, staff, and administrators to value and actively pursue learning for learning's sake. The awards are intended for costs associated with professional association meetings, conferences, professional development classes, college coursework, and similar activities which would enhance the awardee's individual, intellectual, and professional development. And for those who spend so much time preparing for your classes and teaching for your classes, we all do know, and you have other lives, what it means to go to all these extra things to enhance your professional growth as well as prepare you to really prepare our students. So a very special thanks for taking that time. Each of today's recipients will receive $1,500 towards that goal. The awards have special meaning because the nominations come from each of you, from the colleagues of the people receiving the awards, for the accomplishments that you are recognizing. Some of their work will be highlighted in today's program. They also have some words of inspiration for the start of the academic year, and some of us will be speaking those words. The first person I want to bring up here and congratulate is Pak Lay, Information Technology Specialist at Siegel Center. Pak Lay. Come on up. Thank you so much. You're going to see, come on up, Pak. You'll see in the program. You can stay here for a minute. Yeah. You'll see in the program that Pak was a student before he joined the staff at Siegel Center. I know there are a number of employees here who have stayed on to work for Seattle colleges after completing their studies. What an amazing tribute that is, by the way. As a senior member of the district IT team, Pak is tasked with taking complex processes and creating productivity-enhancing solutions. He is also responsible for managing vast amounts of complex data for the district and assists in making it usable and meaningful for staff and students. Pak says, and I quote, "Everyone has a unique quality. Admire yourself, and do not be jealous or envious of others." Congratulations, Pak. And now Steve, Trustee Hill.
Good morning. I'm pleased to be here this morning. And like Louise, I want to say that these Trustee Lifelong Learning Awards are a highlight of our yearly process we go through as trustees. And I look forward to reading about the outstanding accomplishments of people and being engaged in the process of selecting them. I'm here today to give an award to Paul Verschuran, who cannot join us today, but we'd like to recognize him with an award. Paul has taken a leadership role with Statway, presenting his experience in teaching twice a year at the Carnegie Foundation in California. He has won numerous awards for helping students succeed in pre-college math. He has also been featured in the Seattle Times as a guest editorialist for his article, "Why Statistics is a Good Alternative to Teaching Pre-College Math." Congratulations, Paul.
Thank you, Trustee Hill. Now, let's bring up Betty Williams. Where's Betty? Betty is the Parent Education Program Coordinator here at North. Betty has been with the district for 27 years. How fortunate for us. Yeah, that does deserve applause. In her career, she has made an impact on thousands of educators, her main job being educating hundreds of parents every year so they can build healthier families and communities. She also oversees more than 40 preschool co-op classes, along with classes at community child care centers, Seattle Public School partnership classes, and parenting support at local homeless shelter programs. I'm going to quote Betty now, as she says, "As a parent education instructor and social justice advocate, I have found inspiration from these two women, and I think their names you will be familiar with and probably have been inspired as well by. Maya Angelou. It is time for parents to teach young people early on that in diversity there is beauty and there is strength. Marion Wright Edelman. You just need to be a flea against injustice. Enough committed fleas biting strategically can make even the biggest dog uncomfortable and transform in the biggest nation. Let us hope that is true. Congratulations, Betty.
Thank you.
Trustee Hill.
So now it's my pleasure to introduce Tina Young, the Interim Chief Diversity Officer at Central. So I'm going to say a few words. Okay, great. Okay. Tina's deep engagement with students of color has resulted in a number of innovative programs. As a leader in student services, she recognizes that the persistence, graduation, and transfer of students is the result of overall experience, interacting with every facet of the college, not just with individual courses. Her leadership in institutional publications and research projects has created a body of knowledge about Central's students and identified critical factors for their success. Tina quotes Andre Lorde in Age, Race, Class, and Sex, Women Redefining Difference. Quote, "The future of our earth may depend on the ability of all women to identify and develop new definitions of power and new patterns relating across difference. The old definitions have not served us, nor the earth that supports us." Congratulations, Tina.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you.
You do that?
So let's give another round of applause to all of our recipients of the Trustees Lifelong Learning Awards. And now it's my great pleasure to introduce Chancellor Shouan Pan. Most of us first met the Chancellor this time last year after he had been here just about 2 months. He's had a very busy and very productive first year at Seattle colleges, and he'll share his thoughts on the past 12 months as well as look to future initiatives.
Thank you, Kathy. Good morning. So, Warren, let me remind you, exceeded your 5 minutes by 2 seconds. Good morning, Seattle colleges. Thank you. Thank you all for taking time to join us this morning in launching the new academic year. It is truly wonderful to see colleagues across the district interacting with each other. I hope you'll take advantage of opportunities throughout the day to continue this collegial networking. Let me begin by thanking Dr. Warren Brown and North Seattle Colleges for hosting this year's convocation. On behalf of the Board of Trustees, college presidents, I welcome you to 2017-18 academic year. I do hope, whether you worked throughout the summer months or not, you have found time for relaxation, recreation, recharging with your family and friends. To follow up on the award presentation, I'd like to take a moment to acknowledge another innovation of the year that is truly a pride moment for Seattle colleges. It is an award by the League of Innovation. This year, Seattle College received an award for the redesign of developmental English pathways. For a little history here, this award was established more than 30 years ago by the League to recognize capstone achievements and the spirit of innovation and experimentation upon which the League was founded. This award is designed to recognize innovative programs, practices, partnerships, policies, and activities that improve the ability of institutions to serve students and the community and to honor the work of faculty, staff, and administrators who have implemented these innovative programs. As I mentioned, our district was recognized for the redesign of developmental English pathways. This consisted 3 elements. First, changes in developmental English programs courses at all 3 colleges. Teams from the 3 colleges worked together to redesign our developmental course outlines and programs and placement procedures. These changes were put into place this past 4th quarter. Second, changes to the district English placement test. Concurrent with the curriculum redesign effort was the discontinuation of the Compass, the district English placement test. In a district-wide decision, the Wonderlic Basic Skills Test was adopted by the English Department for English placement at both North, South, and Central. Third element, pathways to developmental English at North Seattle College. Faculty at North Seattle redesigned the process for how students come to developmental and college-level English classes. The redesign helped align the 3 colleges, eliminate barriers for students, and streamline the journey towards college-level English. Thank you again for working together for all of you to make this happen. It is truly energizing to gather together at the beginning of this academic year. While this morning may feel like many other mornings that have come before us, we must recognize every year is a bit different. While we carry with us our individual experience and wisdom, we must also be ready to bring a fresh eyes to our work, to become aware of the new opportunities, promises, and circumstances that surround us, and be ready to regroup, realign, re-equip ourselves for a constantly changing world and changing community. As you know, we recently completed a 6-month process of strategic planning, guided by our Board of Trustees and distilled from discussions, interviews, surveys by faculty, staff, administrators, and students from inside Seattle colleges, and input and feedback from external stakeholders, including business community leaders, former trustees, and chancellors. The result is our new strategic plan, complete with refreshed mission, vision, values, and goals. This plan defines who we are, what we're about, what do we want to become, what we believe in, and where we will collectively focus for the next 5 years. This plan, it is not just meant for the district office. It is the official strategic plan for all 3 colleges and district office. In the coming months, we'll be working together to complete the major strategies that are aligned to the 3 strategic goals. The 3 strategic goals are first and foremost, student success. Second, organizational excellence and partnerships. While the trustees will evaluate all colleges on the progress and outcomes towards these 3 goals, each college may elect to adopt additional goals, measures, and strategies that distinguish South, Central, and North. When you arrived this morning, I hope you have picked up a bookmark that's showcasing our new mission, vision, and values. If not, they are available on your way out. I do encourage you to become familiar with them, and more importantly, take time to reflect, to reconnect these missions, these statements with what we do. It's through living the mission and practicing the values on a daily basis, individually and collectively, that we will achieve our goals. Together, we are the difference. As we open the fourth quarter, we are keenly aware there are many students who enrolled on our campuses that will be worried about their legal status because of the recent announcement by Attorney General Sessions to end in 6 months the Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals, or DACA. As an open access institution, Seattle College is deeply committed to the fundamental American values of equity, diversity, and inclusion. We unequivocally, we denounce acts of hatred, discrimination, racism, and violence. Our colleges welcome all students, regardless of their race, national origin, immigration status, sexual orientation, or religious beliefs. So please, please take a moment to tell your students in your class on the first day that Seattle College is always open to them. We're here to serve them, to help them to achieve their goals and dreams. Just last week, Seattle College's Board of Trustees passed a resolution expressing our unwavering support to DACA students. This resolution bearing my signature, our trustees, our college presidents, has been sent to the congressmen, senators from Washington, urging them to do their part at the United States Congress to save and legalize the DACA program. The 2016-17 academic year is behind us, but the work we did carries significance and relevance to the work ahead of us. It was a challenging but also productive year, and together we made significant strides on several fronts. In addition to taking on strategic planning process, we initiated Achieving System Integration. District Office Operations Review Committee and Floating Consultancy conducted a broad, system-wide colleges and district operations. The review led to a set of comprehensive empirical findings and recommendations that will serve our organization, renewal, and realignment for years to come. The Executive Cabinet and College Vice President have met several times the last few months to arrive at the first phase of implementation decisions. I shared those decisions with the district community in July. Next week, we will resend out for everyone to remind we are taking on the work. In addition to those two significant initiatives we took on last year, there are several other accomplishments that's truly worthy of mentioning. President Warren Brown just highlighted the accomplishments of North. Congratulations and thank you for your leadership. I want to highlight what North and Warren just mentioned to all of us. This new BS program, particularly in property management, is one of the very few in the state of Washington. You imagine the work, the need out there in the Seattle area. So this is a timely, much-needed program. North also secured funding, as you recall, to create the new iBest program, one in the IT, another in electronics and robotics. Students from South and Central can also benefit from these programs. At the Seattle Central College, President Sheila Edwards Lane and her staff organized a well-planned, well-executed Central to Seattle 50-year anniversary celebration that succeeded in gathering broad community participation and celebration. College also successfully renovated the Seattle Maritime Academy that is truly a jewel for workers training. They not only serve local students, but also provide on-the-job training, enhancement training to working professionals. Warren Brown mentioned at the South, the 13-year scholarship program had gained significant momentum. With collaboration from students and staff throughout the district, programs was awarded $1.5 million this and next year to expand the program to Central and to North. The mayor of the city council also approved a one-time $5 million budget to further expand the program citywide. As you recall, this is the election year. At least one of the contestants for the mayor is talking about free tuition. We are staying close to this conversation. We believe a free community college education is much needed, it's timely for Seattle, for Seattle's youth. I also want to just mention the South Guided Pathway programs. Although they're still far from being implemented, completed, but have gained significant progress. They're one of the leading institutions, not only in the state of Washington, but nationally, to implement. There's a national movement about guided pathways. We need to help students to come to our colleges making progress towards their goal, whether it's transfer or job placement or certification. We cannot continue practice letting students floating, sink, and swim on their own. So this work is likely to be considered by all three colleges in the coming year. District-wide, with active participation of all three colleges, we have gained momentum on enrollment management, in particular with the implementation of a customer relations management tool. The CRM has yielded positive results with regard to capturing the business intelligence on inquiries registration of prospective students. In June, we successfully held our first ever combined commencement. Nearly 900 graduates from throughout the district walked across the stages at Safeco Field on a warm summer night, surrounded by their family and friends and representatives from faculty, staff, and district college leadership. Feedback from the graduates indicates clearly that they thoroughly enjoyed the ceremony. The graduation planning committee, chaired by Vice President of Student Services of three colleges, and the committee members rose up to the challenge of combining long-established traditions, customs at each college to create a new tradition, a new way of celebrating student accomplishments. They did a truly beautiful job of highlighting the achievements of student graduates and congratulating them on their success. Thank you for your leadership and master of planning and execution. In just a short while, we'll hear from one of those enthusiastic graduates. Earlier this year, we successfully received the reaffirmation of a board seat, a board membership to the League of Innovation in the Community College. As part of the process, we highlighted innovative programs across the district during a special presentation to the League's visiting team. It was clear to me, as well as to the visitors, that Seattle College faculty staff have engaged and continue to engage in many collaborative, innovative, instructional, and student support programs in pursuit of excellence in teaching and learning and student success. Again, the iBest program, the redesign of English Pathway, Project Finish Line were particularly praised by the League visitors. I'd like to thank all of those faculty, staff who have had a role in this rigorous process. Innovation is an important component of our institutional values, and we will continue to nurture and support it now and in the future, even in the context of a difficult budget circumstances. These are but a few examples of our common accomplishments in the past year. I hope you'll take to heart the significance of these achievements, particularly under the current political and financial realities both at the national and the state level. Take time to reflect on this because we never want to lose sight of the life-changing impact of our work on so many, especially those underserved. Take time to savor the rich meanings of all you do to serve students on a daily basis, no matter your role. How we support our students can be the difference between the decision for them to stay or withdraw from a class, the difference between finding self-confidence or losing hope, and the difference between walking on the graduation platform or dropping out to the sideline. So this morning, we have invited, and this is a special treat, a group of students and alumni who can make it true and real for us. They will share what the Seattle colleges and their experience here mean to them, and how you, faculty, staff, and administrators have made a difference not only in their educational pursuits, but in life. So please join me in welcoming to the stage our first speaker, Samuel Amaho, a student at Seattle Central College.
Welcome, everybody. I guess I should quickly, part of why I'm here is to remind all of you too that superheroes out there do that don't always wear their underwear on the outside. So, you know. You have to excuse me, I apologize in advance. I got a little bit of a scratch. I'm getting over something. All right, let's get to it. As far as I can remember, I've known what it's like to struggle. As a child, I was a victim of mental, physical, and unmentionable abuse at the hands of others. Some of it looked like a 1-hour episode of Law and Order, except mine was real and lasted for much longer. I grew up in Walla Walla, the oldest of 5 kids. I was a parent by the time I was 7 because my mom worked the night shift at a cannery. She kept the same shift for more than 35 years. Most of my free time I spent with my grandpa, a World War II vet. He came home from the war, minus one lung, one shoulder blade, and half a rib cage on one side. We lived in Walla Walla to be close to the VA. He was a great man, the one who instilled in me the core values that I abide by to this day, such as kindness and honesty. Unfortunately, he lived his days with a bottle of black velvet and an endless supply of cigarettes. My mom at work, my grandfather in his bottle, and my stepfather who wasn't present, there was no one to keep the bad away, and there was plenty of it. I tell you this not to pity me or feel sorry for me, so please don't. For me, this is about growth. One thing I had going for me is I loved school, but even that was hard because while Green Park Elementary was one of the best schools in town, it was 98% white. So my brothers and I were picked on and teased because we were people of color and we didn't dress in the latest styles. One teacher even told us we needed to go to a school with our own kind where they spoke our language, which was strange because all we'd ever known was English. By age 7, I was working in the fields. Making money came first in our house. I was on my own at 13, and I was introduced to drugs and alcohol. By 14, I was using every day. Over the years, I would have bouts of clarity and try to make something of myself, but nothing ever stuck. I had jobs and did pretty well. It's easy when everyone around you has the same pattern of drinking and drugging. On the job, this was an endless cycle. I had become a cancer to the community and should have been dead many times over. I got my GED in prison, and when I got out a second time, 11 months ago, this past Monday, I decided something needed to change. I made a commitment to myself to give college a shot, even though I'd been told time and time again it was too late for me, or that I wouldn't make it because I had never had any real schooling. But I needed change, and I'm pretty determined. You don't go through what I've been through without having that in your system. Despite my commitment and determination, it wasn't easy to get here. For people like me, the process can be overwhelming. I completed some of the paperwork, but I didn't get very far. I didn't know what I didn't know. I didn't know what to ask or who to ask. Needless to say, I was ready to throw the paperwork away and walk away from it all. Not sure if I would return. I left Central and was down the street when I looked up and I saw student work source on a building, and it was tied to the college. What I focused on was the word work. I knew that word. I knew work. So I went in and asked for help. My life changed in that moment. I said I needed help, and the man asked what I needed help with, and I said everything. I wear my emotions on my sleeve, and I think he saw the exhaustion and frustration. He said, "Hang tight," and he brought out Molly Mitchell. Finally, someone who understood. Yeah. Finally, someone who understood that I had no idea how to navigate the system. She assured me that it wasn't that I wasn't smart enough to figure it out, but that I didn't understand the basics. I had never done this for real on my own. She made me feel welcome and important, then got me to slow down and focus. She lined me up with the right person, which started a chain reaction of true care and concern from others for me and my future at Seattle Central. I want to give a shout out to those who have been at the beginning, were my rock of support and still are, and went above and beyond. Julia Bouchons with Info Central. Ariana Cantu with Trio. A student by the name of Kira Nork. And of course, Molly Mitchell. Also, the instructors who happen to be on their computers at 11 at night to answer a question, or or volunteers who turned down a night on the town because I needed help. I feel like I have a real and fair chance. Thanks to the people at Central. The people there are my family, and I no longer feel alone. For the first time, I know what it feels like to have people who want the best for me and will help me get it. It's hard to describe what being at Central has done for me. Maybe you'll get it with this example. You get up and you go about your day doing the right thing. You don't even think about it. It's normal for you. It's never been normal for me. Not until now. At age 47, have I been surrounded by people who do the right thing every day. The people at Central are my role models, and thanks to them, I too am doing the right thing every day. It's almost to the point that I don't even think about it. My life was counted as lost by those who knew me. Since January, I've felt like a winner. I'm working to pass on the beacon of light that was handed to me the day I saw that work source sign. I just completed training to be a student ambassador for the college and start classes again on Monday. My plan is to get my bachelor's degree in Health and Human Services. I want to help people who struggled like the old me to become the new me. Thank you all for getting me here.
Thank you very much, Samuel, for sharing your inspirational story and your strength, but also reminding all of us to be thankful and remember all the people who continue to help us along our journey. So thank you again, Samuel. Now I'd like to introduce Rhea Perry, an alumna of North.
Hi. I'm not the biggest fan of public speaking, but I decided. Thank you. So, a few things I like to ask myself before I present or do a speech. My first question is always, what percentage of my grade is this going to be? This is a freebie, though. So, my father was an educated man, and he believed in education, and grew up in the 50s in Minnesota, an African American with 5 brothers and sisters, and he felt that education was the way that he could elevate himself above his circumstances. He constantly instilled in me the importance of getting an education. I'm a little hard-headed, so it took a few tries, but my father is no longer with us, and while we no longer have the conversations in which he subtly and sometimes not so subtly interjected his desire for me to go back to school, he liked to say things like, you know, your cousin Robin didn't go back to school until her late 20s. That was the easy stuff, but he would throw hardballs like, the economy is in the tank. What are people gonna do? Meaning me. When he passed, I thought the topic of going back to school had gone with him, had passed with him. Maybe I would get the occasional life question or, career, college question, distant relatives on Christmas or Thanksgiving, so twice a year. I have no idea why I ever thought that, because he was such a stickler for education that 3 weeks after his funeral, I received a package in the mail. I recognized the sender, and it was an old college buddy of his. I open up the package, and it's a photo album, one of those, small 5x7 photo albums, and the front has a slot where you can put a picture in. The picture on the cover is my dad, ear-to-ear grin, getting his master's degree from the University of Minnesota in 1975. That picture stayed with me. I always had it near me, and it was one of the key items that led me to North. It's not like I had never tried my hand at higher education. I tried. a few times, like I said. I just kept dropping out. It just never stuck. I think I had some residual attitude from high school. I was really edgy. Most of my school years, I was a good student, but at some point, I decided that it wasn't really for me. I struggled to find both the inspiration and the motivation to give anything but the bare minimum of effort. I see now that it wasn't that school wasn't for me, it was me that wasn't for me. I wasn't rooting for myself. My early and mid-20s consisted of a lot of loss. I had lost my best friend, my father, my boyfriend. I found myself struggling with my own loss of identity and fumbling to find footing in this world. The after effects of this period left me feeling depressed and anxious, and I was constantly filled with self-doubt. I never really knew what I was going to do next, and I didn't really ever have a plan. So when I got the photo album, it kind of sent me on a trajectory that has carried me into today. And it was the photo. I wish I had the photo, but I couldn't find it. I just moved, sorry. It was more than just thoughtful. It symbolized hopes and dreams, not only mine, but the hopes and dreams that were wished upon me. And every day that I looked at that picture, planted a seed, I would think, okay, maybe I could try one more time. But then the next day I would say, no, I don't think, no, it's not for me. And, you know, I'd oscillate between the two until finally I said, let's do it, okay. So, the photo of my dad brought me to North's front door, but it is the faculty and the staff and all of you that helped me succeed here at North. My first quarter back, I was anxious, and I remember the feeling of doubting myself. I didn't know if I was wearing the right clothes. I mean, who cares about clothes? Just, you know, I just felt awkward, uncomfortable. I wasn't sure if I fit. I wasn't sure if I was going to make it because I hadn't made it so many times. I was constantly having to shove that doubt down. And I just remember how overbearing it could feel. It was like carrying a 10-pound weight around my neck. I felt I was one bad day away from giving up again. And I had also decided that if I had to give a presentation in any of my classes, I was out of there. That's how much I didn't like presenting. Yeah, I had done it before. I'd actually, left class. I didn't put too much energy into the thought about me presenting, though, because it was my first quarter back. I only had 3 classes, and I thought, what are the odds that I would have a presentation on one of my first quarters back, 3 classes? So I think, the odds were great. So I did have I had my very first class. The very first day I found we had a presentation. Instead of what I usually did, which was run away, I actually dove in head first. I don't know what it was. I think it was the environment that North had created for me. I felt so comfortable in my classes. My instructors were so warm and attentive, and I felt like I was part of a bigger community. And that is something that kept me going even past the first, second, and third, and fifth presentation that I've done at North. As the days passed, it was a very weird thing happened. I started to enjoy school, and I started to enjoy it like I did when I was in elementary school. I was excited to get up in the morning, and I was excited to do homework. I was excited to learn. I tried to mirror my instructors, and I tried to give back to them what they were giving to me. I tried my very best. I did my very best. So back to my presentation. I just can't let it go. My first presentation, I think I was so nervous, I blacked. I don't remember it at all. But when I came to, my class was on their feet clapping for me. And I had spent so much time and so much effort on this presentation. It was one of the most exhilarating feelings I have ever had, because presenting is a weak spot of mine. So that day I drove home. I couldn't even make it past that 7-Eleven that's right down there. I parked and I cried, and I cried because I didn't beat myself down, and I told myself I could do it, and I did. Okay. So, anyways, that was a turning point for me, both academically and personally. Instead of saying to myself, why not? Why? I said, why not? I'll never forget the way that I felt that day, and it carried me through the next 2 years. It wasn't just that. At North, I had found a home, and I had found support that I had been lacking for a long time. Almost every one of my instructors made me feel as if I were their only student. I felt I had a whole school cheering me on, and more importantly, they believed in me. I cannot name just one thing or one moment that explains the deep reverence that I have for this school. I cannot name just one class or one instructor. That is because it is the contribution of each and every one of you that has helped to instill courage and confidence in me. You saw potential in me and all your students, and that potential is sometimes hard for me, to see myself. My personal journey would not have been possible without people like the ones in workforce education who helped me get into my first quarter here at North, the library staff who saved me several hours per quarter by their my instructors, of course, who treated me with respect and made me feel valued. The kitchen staff and their student aides who let me follow them around with a camcorder for a school project. I was so annoying they let me do it. They were great, really gracious. The friendly janitorial staff that would lend me an ear when I needed to vent and allowed me to use the restroom even when the floor was wet. Thank you. The completion office that helped me at the last minute find funding for my final quarter here at North. The guys in the security office who on several occasions helped me get my keys out of my locked car. I don't know how they got there. Very important. And the past and present people in the student leadership office, they always treated me as if I were one of their own, always had their door open, and always made me feel as if I was part of the team. Additionally, all the staff members who created a campus that is both safe and supportive. Thank you. In closing, I will say that, like a painting by George Seurat, up close, all you see are tiny dots. It is only when you take a step back that you see it's a beautiful picture. And with that, I want to give you my sincerest, from the bottom of my heart, thank you.
Raya, I think you're a great public speaker. And hilarious, so thank you very much. Now, I'd like to introduce Leonard King Jr. He is an alum of SVI.
Good morning, everybody. Excuse me, but I gotta say this. If you are happy to be part of the 2017 Convocation, clap your hands. Yes, yes. I got a call from Maria, and I was working, so I didn't get the call and the message for almost a week, and call her back, and she said, we want you to come and speak and, share your testimony on how your experience was with the Seattle colleges. And I felt honored. I can't believe I'm here with you guys today sharing my struggle onto success. So I do want to start off by saying that I was not born to, college degree possessing parents. I was born in the inner city of Chicago, in the projects. Not much success comes from that, but music artists and basketball players. So I was born in a fear and knowing that I was not going to be too capable of doing anything. My neighborhood was so terrible that I had to move up here to have a better life. I didn't even know how to grasp on to what I needed to do to even create a better life, because I was so conditioned on knowing that I was only going to be doing a certain thing with my life for the rest of my life, and my children was going to be doing that same perpetuation of literally falling. But I'm going to tell you guys today what God's done for me with the help of the Seattle colleges. I said, I am honored to be here this morning and thankful for the opportunity to share my story with you. story with a happy ending, thanks to you all. When I enrolled in Seattle Vocational Institute, I was homeless, sleeping on the streets of Seattle, downtown to be exact. My family suffered a house fire, which we lost everything. Along with losing everything, I felt very hopeless. I felt very afraid. With a pregnant wife and a small child, not only was I feeling hopeless, I started to feel my faith diminishing, of losing myself, losing my family, and losing my life. I could not look left. I could not look right. I was already down, so the only direction I could look to was to the light. I fell on my knees on a cold, rainy day in the middle of downtown Seattle. I always was a strong person. I never give up, and I'm always known for giving my all. I called out to the only source that I knew of, which was my Heavenly Father. I first cried, "Thank you. Thank you, Lord." Though I was struggling, I was still alive. So that there, I had to thank Him. I was looking around Seattle and I was seeing a lot of stuff going on, and I couldn't say nothing but thank you. I wasn't on drugs. I wasn't living in the projects anymore. I wasn't making wrong decisions that made me homeless. Just suffered an incident. And He says, "You're gonna climb out of this. Just be patient and have faith." I asked my Heavenly Father for help. I left everything in the hands of the Almighty because I knew I would be picked up by my faith. The Almighty told me I never give up either, and I always give my all. Right then and there, I knew everything would be all right, and I'm here today to say that I am thankful. I became a student at SVI because it offered a unique program called the Pre-Apprentice Construction Training Program. I like to say this. It's better known as the Mighty Pack Program. This program, it taught me the basics to build. I used these tools to rebuild my family, rebuild my future, and to rebuild my life. These skills taught and opened up a guaranteed pathway of success that I can follow, my children and my children's children could follow. For that I am thankful. Because when you grow up with no skills, you don't even know how to maintain your own home, let alone maintain your own body. So when you gain these skills and you're looking at your own young ones, and you can say, hey, I'm a father now. I know how to teach my son how to carry himself, how to build his own home. I'm thankful for SVI for that, because if anything happened to my home, I had no idea what to do, no idea who to run to get help, and they taught me, and for that I am thankful. I became the Director of Advocacy and Politics on the Associate Student Leadership Committee at SVI because I saw a vision of success and change for our entire city, and also I wanted to gain knowledge to become a better leader. Being a veteran, I have a passion for leadership. I am a leader who knows change, a leader who understands the obstacles we all face throughout our lives. See, when one challenges himself or herself to completing a task, one begins to change the perception that he or she has upon themselves. Positivity and motivation is the key. Like I said before, I wasn't that educated or too smart. So when I made the dean's list twice and Thank you, Ms. Dean. I see you, Ms. Dean. I got a 3.83 grade point average. I came up here and I was reading on like a 5th grade level. I didn't know my timetables or anything, you know, so I can't say I skated through high school, but it was just a real struggle because I didn't know the fundamentals of learning. So when I come to a college and I get a 3.83 and I see, you know, people like the dean and the staff of SBI, you know, I see some more back there who actually would just talk to me when I was walking through the halls and say, you know what, Leonard, you can do it. You motivated, keep on going, and they kept me coming to school early. I'll be the last to leave. I even come on the days we didn't even have class, just because it was all I had. It was all I had to have a boost of energy that can teach you to learn, and you know you've never had that before. It's something that you want to hold on to and never let go, and I'm thankful for the people that was around me that made that happen in my life. I'm thankful for all the instructors and staff who motivated me to keep striving. In June, I walked across the stage, nearly with 900 other graduates. Many with stories like mine, many with their own stories. But all of them, like mine, had a happy ending. Thanks to all of you guys. Gotta give y'all a hand clap for that. Together, you made a difference in my family, in my life, and in my future. I am thankful, Seattle Colleges. And if you can one more time, y'all gotta stand up and y'all gotta give yourselves a praise, a clap, because you guys are awesome. There's so many people out here that y'all might not even know who lives y'all actually touch, and y'all actually are doing that. I know sometimes y'all have y'all ups and y'all downs and what's going on with the colleges, but keep on doing it, because if you can save one life, it's like you saved the whole world. I salute you guys.
Thank you, Leonard, for sharing your story. I'm so glad I was there in June to actually hear your story twice. It's very inspirational. So now I'd like to introduce Natalia Parker, an alumna of South.
Hello, everyone. I, too, hate public speaking, so bear with me. I've never spoken to this large of a crowd before. If you would have told me 2.5 years ago that I would be standing here today, I would not have believed it, and I probably would have laughed at you. I was a high school dropout, and I never thought that I was a school person. I didn't think that I was smart enough, strong enough, or disciplined enough. The thought of going back to school was terrifying, much like speaking on the stages. But I was unhappy with where I was in my career, and I was determined to give my daughters the kind of role model that they deserve. So I decided that I needed to go back to school and get my diploma. I took that first step and I enrolled in South Seattle College's High School 21 program. Just with the simple goal of finishing high school. And that was the beginning of the journey that has led me here today. At first it was challenging. Not just the classes, but the internal pressure that I put on myself, as well as the insecurity I had held for so many years about school and my ability to succeed. You see, for so many years, that feeling of being a failure because I did not finish school had taken root in my mind and created walls and barriers that I still even now struggle to break through. But I'm thankful, if not by luck, fate, or destiny, that my journey landed me at South, where I had the privilege of meeting someone who was and is influential towards my success, Jane Harness. Jane is one of the educators for the program, and she cares for her students. She really does. And I believe that I am proof of that. Jane was the first person who showed me that I had what it takes to be a successful student. And it was through one of her classes, Pathways, that helped me to self-reflect and better understand my strengths and weaknesses, as well as provide me with the various resources that were available to me at South. Pathways did exactly what the name implies, and it provided me with the necessary steps I needed to take to secure a better future and education for myself. During this class, I met another individual who was and is influential towards my success, Aaron Barzin. Aaron spoke to our class about the different scholarships and workshops available to students to aid them in their application process. After I graduated from the High School 21 program, I decided to attend Aaron's workshop for the Foundation Scholarship. Even though I didn't think that I would get it, I was thrilled when I found out that I was awarded the scholarship. After that, I was further determined, and I went every quarter to Aaron's workshops, and every time she helped me apply, and subsequently every quarter but one, I was awarded the Foundation Scholarship. Had I not taken the Pathways class and not met Aaron and Jane, and learned about these scholarships, I would probably still be working away slowly but surely on my AA, but I'm not. I'm proud to say that not only did I graduate this past June with my Associate of Arts degree, while working and raising my two beautiful daughters with my amazing husband, but I did so all while maintaining my spot on the Dean's List every quarter. My journey has not been easy, and it has been full of sacrifice and hard work, but I am a firm believer that the experiences in your life that are the hardest have the potential to lead to the most rewarding outcomes. As I'm a first-generation college graduate in my family, I was at times unsure how to proceed with my college education. But the wonderful advisors and staff at South provided me with all of the guidance and support that I needed, and I never once felt alone, lost, or confused. I would be remiss if I didn't thank the various people in my life that have contributed to my success as a student. I want to thank my husband for always believing in me and encouraging me to go back to school, even when I didn't think that I ever could. My parents for their constant support and love. And my daughters for being the inspiration I needed to further my education. Sorry. And finally, the amazing teachers, administrators, and counselors and staff at South Seattle College. My success is your success, and it is with immense gratitude that I thank you all from the bottom of my heart. My journey doesn't end here, but hopefully it is just the beginning. I recently applied to the University of Washington, and I will find out in a few months if I'm accepted. Wish me luck. In the meantime, I loved South Seattle College so much that I'm now working there part-time as a peer navigator. I feel fortunate that I'm able to be a support system to other students, much like myself, who are maybe unsure, scared, and nervous in their educational journey. I hope with this speech I conveyed the importance of educators' roles and the major impact that you all have on students' lives every day. You show us that we are smart enough, we are strong enough, and we are disciplined enough. And with your guidance and support, there are endless possibilities that await us. Thank you for your time today.
Thank you, Natalia, for continuing to be a role model and inspiration to many people. So please join me again in thanking our guests this morning. And a huge thanks to all of you for all you do to support our students. Together, we are the difference. In conclusion, join us for one of the breakout sessions immediately following this program. Most are located in the HSSR Library and College Center buildings. There are science and volunteers to help direct you. Implementing the strategic plan with the Chancellor, Chair Chernin, and presidents will be right here in the Wellness Center. The Mannequins and Cadavers tour will meet at the upper floor of the HSSR building. The SCC TV tour and taping tour is on the lower floor level of the Education building. And the Sustainability and Wetlands tour will meet in the courtyard. The cookout is sponsored by our campus bookstore operated by Barnes & Noble. On your way out, please stop by the Barnes & Noble's college table and see the resources available for you to help students out. Back here. So during your lunch, you can also get a sneak peek at the art gallery's newest exhibition. It's entitled Speaking Out, Arts and Politics in Words. Something very special is that this exhibit does not open to the public until the 27th, and so we really appreciate the opportunity to see it first. This concludes and wraps up our program. Thank you for joining us and have a fantastic year. Again, remember, together we are the difference.